What One Thing, a Smart Meetings podcast that provides you with a shortcut to the top of the events world by asking successful people what made the difference in their careers and lives. I'm Marin Bright, founder and CEO of Smart Meetings, and we have a special treat for you today. My friend, Lisa Messina, is a groundbreaker. She was the first female chief sales officer at the LVCVA, and her hospitality roots go back to when she was 12 years old working at her uncle's restaurant. She is a smart woman in meetings, award Hall of Fame winner, and an advocate for the industry. And I might add, a fierce selfie taker. So Lisa, we're so excited to see you today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marin. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, it's always so fun to catch up with you. You're a mover and a shaker. You got to be fast to catch up with you. So we're jumping in, and I would love, and I think our audience would love to get to know you better because you're such a leader and such an inspiration to many. Share with me, you were hooked on hospitality very young, like I was. It was like my first job. And my sister said, Marin, you do lunch really well. You should go to work for the hotel. And I was like, you're right. My specialty is lunch. And that's what I did. So tell me about your service origin story. Tell me where you got your start.
Absolutely. Well, my grandfather on my father's side was a restaurateur, and my grandmother was a concierge with ITT Sheraton. And unfortunately, I never got to meet my grandfather. He passed away before I was born, but he set a legacy from the standpoint of, because he was this great entrepreneur in Trenton, New Jersey, my uncle Reggie decided to follow in his footsteps and become a great restaurateur, going to school at the Cornell Hotel School, and then moving out west where he ran quite the entrepreneurial restaurant empire that me looking on as a young person just wanted to live that life. He, was living in a resort community, and he worked hard and played hard. And that kind of set several of us within my generation on the path for hospitality.
And those are really deep roots. I mean, yeah. Grandpa and uncle. What was the restaurant? Can I ask?
It was called the Horseshoe in Trenton, New Jersey. That was my grandfather's restaurant. In fact, the Horseshoe is still over the door in that area of Trenton. And when we all graduated from the hotel school, we would get a Horseshoe pinky ring that we got to wear for those of us that decided to go into the restaurant and hospitality side of the business.
Wow, you went to school. I mean, you decided to go to school for it. I mean,
yes.
So many of us stumble in, and you were very intentional. Where did you go to school?
I went to the Cornell Hotel School, and I'm very proud that at least 3 of us in my generation went to the hotel school there. So it's kind of a legacy. And now my brother ended up going to Fairleigh Dickinson to the hotel school. And then my niece is now at the NYU hotel school. So literally half our family is in the business, which is really kind of cool.
You guys have, I bet you sit around and talk about banquets and rooming lists at Christmas. Is that what you do?
There's a lot of pressure to put on a party when we're the host. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I bet. That would be a lot of pressure. I got it. No, I've got it. I have to say that's very unusual, and that's very impressive and really great to know. Yeah. And then Hilton, where you also were, is known as a business of people serving people.
Yes.
Tell me how your time there, and also your time at Caesars, built your network and shaped your approach to leading.
Well, I mean, at the roots, Conrad Hilton wanted to share the light and warmth of hospitality. And that, just continues to ring true, not only at Hilton, which is an amazing company and an amazing culture to work for, but Conrad Hilton just had so much influence on the way the industry as a whole works today. You think about the pioneers of Conrad Hilton and Bill Marriott. And so, I am very thankful for the time I had at Hilton and the time I had at Caesars, who embraced that legacy hospitality and those pioneers of the business who just remind you what it's all about. And so you're in this business to make people happy. You're in this business to help people with their biggest moments in life, whether it's personally or professionally. And I like to have a small part in that. So,
absolutely. It's so rewarding. I mean, they're on a vacation or they're there to get business done, and travel is so exciting, and you're part of that. And it's such a positive business, and you get to be part of that memory that they're creating and that experience. So, well, that's just absolutely wonderful. And then Caesars, of course, you were there and saw it grow and boom and change. And actually, I can't believe I'm a Nevada native, grew up in Reno. I went to school with the Caranos and grew up down the street, and they own Caesars now, which is still mind-boggling to me, but very smart people. Always had the best Italian food at their restaurants, I will say.
Oh, yes.
And so you saw a lot of changes at Caesars. How do you feel about change as you've been through many transitions?
I think, anybody in business or life, if you can figure out how to manage change in a proactive way, it will always benefit you, right? It doesn't help to worry about things that you don't control. Certainly, you want to be in an environment where you have a voice, but if you can lean into change, I promise you life will be a lot easier and you'll have a lot less gray hair. And so change has always excited me. When I was at Caesars Entertainment, the Caranos, another family story that started from the roots of the family. How could you not get behind that? How could you not get behind that feel-good story of a family who built their empire in Reno and then, go out and buy the largest gaming company globally? And they're doing such great things.
It's amazing. It really is. I had one of my first jobs with the Caranos in college, and
so cool.
My niece always worked for them. She went on to play professional basketball, but they've always been big supporters of my family, and I know them very well. I remember Caesars when Evel Knievel jumped over the fountain.
Oh, yes.
That was the place. And I'll tell you, the concerts, Petulia Clark, I saw at Caesars. And boy, I remember when it was built, and it was such an icon, and now so big in so many places. So you were really instrumental, I'm sure, in a lot of that. So one other thing I have to ask you about is I hear one perk of your time at the Hilton is that you met your husband there.
I did.
I see you at industry events all over the country, and I know that you're busy. And how do you balance your high profile role and spending time with him? Is he still in hotel business?
He retired right before COVID. He's a couple years older than me, but I love the fact that I have a partner in life. We have so much that we share together. And the fact that he did the same work I did at Hilton, I have such a great support at home. Our relationship started where he was a mentor for me, and he continues to be a mentor to this day. And so he gets it, right? Like when I was with you in New York and Atlanta, he's like, I know, I know how
pain. Although, Lisa, I think that's called dipping your pen in the company ink. And back in my day,
off the company doc.
That was kind of frowned on, but I might start looking for my new ex-husband at a hotel or CVB. So, and he's home taking care of those beautiful dogs of yours, right? Somebody's got to take them out during the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I walk them every morning at 5:30 a.m. when I'm not traveling, but he definitely helped the balance when I'm on the road. So you're
a good early riser too. I was just going to ask you, where do you get all of your energy? Because you seem to be boundless.
One is, I would say, just always trying to eat right and get some exercise in, because that just helps with the endorphins. But, one thing I did chicken out of, Marin, that you did really well was you have a beautiful son. And I never had children. So that gives me a little more time than the typical female leader, because I really give the shout outs to the women like yourself who are out there doing amazing things and
I have one for rent. It's not too late. Oh, that's great. It does take away some of that focus and energy, and it is a wonderful, beautiful thing to do. But I see you, and it looks like your life is very full in spite of that. I just read this great. Have you heard of the Miracle Morning?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's on. I saw it on Netflix. I'm just going to take one sec. It's all about early risers are always the most successful people. Did you know that? No surprise to you. And they tend to have 7 things they do in the morning. They meditate, they visualize, they say their affirmations, they exercise, they scribe, and they read. And you do 10 minutes of each. And there's all these testimonials of the success that comes out of that. But I'm sure you already do half of those or more than that. So you're already onto it out walking. But as I mentioned, you were the first female in this role at the Las Vegas CVA when you took the job last year.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you are leading and telling the story of Las Vegas, because there's always so many there's new ways, and I'm sure you're bringing your own juju to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the biggest thing is to respect the history and the legacy of the team members that have come before me and the leaders that have come before me. And, take learnings from that, listen to what my customers are saying, listen to what the needs of my community are. And then, just be very passionate about moving forward, being innovative and being creative. And so I think if you just take those learnings from the past, you build strong relationships with your customers and your community, and then you get the right people on the team who share that passion to see Las Vegas into its, next set of its future, right? Like its next chapter. And if you just listen, right, and act on behalf of the constituents you serve, most people are going to cheer you on. And so that's what I've just tried to focus on is what's most important to the people I serve. And how do I, serve in a way that's going to be meaningful and memorable for them? So that's what I'm trying to do. Get the right people on the bus, tell the story, add on to this crazy and fun history, and hopefully have a stamp in time that I can call my own, reflect on. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, that's so true. The right people on the bus. And also, Las Vegas continues to evolve. What's the new hot thing that will be part of your stamp?
Well, I would say that just balancing the different personalities of Las Vegas. Right now we have so much going on with F1 and the Super Bowl and the Sphere, and a lot of it is very entertainment and sports focused. And it's my stamp, my piece will come in to say, these things also have real value for our meetings and conventions customers as well. And so, as we tell the story of all of these exciting, events and venues that are popping up, people are like, oh, well, that's about entertainment. That's about sport. Yes. And it has an amazing benefit for our meetings and conventions customers as well. So telling that story and allowing them to embrace these new events and venues to their own advantage, and then getting them to tell their story so that convention and meeting planners see that, oh, these things may not have been built specifically for me, but there's a benefit of these things being done in the city that are going to help me, are going to help my attendees, going to help drive, attendance at my meetings and events. So it's right now, that's where it is. It's balancing that storytelling that all these things weren't just built for sports and entertainment, but they have a value for our meetings, conventions planners as well.
And absolutely. And, I live in the Bay Area where you guys are stealing all the teams from, but no hard feelings, I was very involved in professional sports for a long time, actually in college in Nevada. And those are seasonal things. So you've got to look to the meeting planners often to fill those venues, and the smart ones really have in those down times when they're not playing. And that will be something that will really come into play once don't you think, Lisa?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you'll be right there leading the charge. I'm sure you'll have your whistle out and be leading them in. So with all the exciting things and it seems like there's a new show every day, and there's so many reasons to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm sure you being there for a long time, do you have a secret spot that you like to go that's like you've got a speakeasy or something?
Oh, well, there's a couple of those. There's a couple of those for sure. The laundry room in downtown Fremont is very fun, and you have to know how to find it.
Okay.
Yep. You and JT, next time you're out, I'm going to take you down there.
Okay, we're all ready.
Yep.
I'll do the laundry while JT does the dry.
There you go. People are going to have to text us to figure out how to find it. So that'll be fun.
I love that.
I would say balancing it with Red Rock. I mean, not enough people get off the strip when they're here, and it's just so beautiful. And so I always invite people to go hiking with me. So
yes. And Nevada has a real natural beauty that
absolutely
a lot of people are not aware of. You know, at first glance, when you're flying in, I'm growing up there. I was always very disappointed that my state flower was a sagebrush. I was like, a sagebrush. I wanted to be a rose, but there's so much beauty in the desert and so many things to appreciate. So Red Rock is high on the list. I'm with you. I recommend anybody go out there anytime. So the name of this podcast is What One Thing? And maybe you could share with us your one thing that allowed you to be successful as you have been, and how can the community use that same approach? Or have you got any words of wise or tips for those who are coming up, who see a leader like you and say, how do I do what Lisa did?
Well, I would say that one thing is perspective. I got into the hospitality business to work hard, but to be part of something that people choose to do when they have, the time, the resources, and the money, right? And so when you think about traveling and staying in hotels and attending great events and meetings, if you just keep perspective on, the role you play in people's happiness, it will allow you to deal through the change, the stressful event, helping customers achieve their vision and their goals, and helping team members, see through their career journeys. If you let perspective get out of whack, it will suddenly not be a very enjoyable thing for you. And so just always keeping perspective on, what it is that we're doing here. People will often say, like, we're not rocket scientists, we're not surgeons. And that just allows you to kind of put things in perspective about what your value is, what you're trying to achieve, and allow you to navigate through the difficult times. Because if you're not happy in this space in hospitality, then you're the wrong person for this space. This is not supposed to be overtly stressful or, dissatisfying. This is a really satisfying career journey and a really awesome industry to be a part of. So
absolutely, and keeping that perspective on that joy and happiness that we do bring. And, there'll be always something, but those soft skills, the soft skills of being able to fix something and turn it around. I used to always walk down to the front desk, and of course there'd always be somebody who would have something that was wrong, although I often found that hard to believe in some of the hotels I worked in. But you would just listen. Most of the time it's listening and not taking it personally and allowing them, and they will find their own solution and see the light. I'm sure of that. And that you're in this beautiful hotel. What is there to be upset about?
Right.
We have so much joy in our industry, the food, the experience, the connections, the other people in this industry, the experiences. I'm sure you could go on and on and on yourself. So is there anything that people listening to this podcast would be surprised to learn about you? What would you have, a hobby, or as your eyes are going, you're thinking, can I put you on the spot?
No, I don't know that there's any real surprises with me. I'm a pretty transparent, open, honest individual.
I get that about you.
Yeah. I'm just like a goofball at heart. Again, it's just like about why I do what I do. It's to work in an environment that for the most part is a place that you can just, be yourself and be happy and provide joy for others. Yeah, I don't know that there's any real surprises.
All right. I'm going to, maybe you do some knitting on the side or something we'd be surprised about. Something to keep you zen. always such a delight to talk with you and to see you out and about, Lisa. You are like a shining ray, and you really do walk your talk of positivity. It doesn't surprise me the things you've shared today. Attitude is almost the game changer. It's 100% to almost anything we do. Even brain surgery requires a good attitude.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree.
And you've got that. So thank you. On behalf of all of my peers and team here at Smart Meetings, we're thrilled to have you with us today and look forward to seeing you roll in Las Vegas and keep that sunshine going.
Thank you very much.
Smart Meetings, What One Thing was produced by Bright Business Media. Visit smartmeetings.com to subscribe to your daily dose of inspiration.